Good afternoon, participants. We are truly delighted to welcome back Mr. Prakash Hegade, whose dynamic and inspiring session on day one set a powerful tone for the FDP. His engaging insights on principle-based learning, threshold concepts, and new learning taxonomies opened up fresh perspectives on how teaching practices can be reshaped for greater impact. By moving beyond the traditional Bloom's taxonomy and guiding us through innovative frameworks like Solo and Fink's taxonomies, he demonstrated how educators can create deeper and more meaningful learning experiences. What made the session was truly memorable, sir? It was a hands-on practical approach where the participants were actively engaged in exercises, collaborated on activities. We eagerly look forward to this continued guidance in helping us bridge the unknown and known to unknown through ZPD and adopting innovative research backend strategies that make learning more interactive, transformative, and future ready. With great respect and enthusiasm, I now hand over the session to Mr. Prakash, sir, for further proceedings. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that warm introduction. And I have to credit here and say that, ma'am, thank you for putting forth concisely the thought of what exactly happened in the last session. And we need to go ahead and appreciate that it's because of AI we are able to refine our thoughts. Otherwise, probably would have been a little messy in knowing what exactly is ZPD and what exactly was known and unknown. And I think that's where AI steps in and makes our day much more powerful as well. Yes, there are a lot of tools which we can go ahead and explore. There are too many things which we can work on, but what are other ways which we can make actually our session much more effective? And that's what we're going to discuss as well. I'm glad that I have the session on the concluding part because it's Saturday, because it's going to give us enough time to go ahead and explore and further find out on how can actually LLM make it beneficial. When it comes to usage of tools, when it comes to using different techniques and enabled for this, we still feel ki, yeah, these tools were there from long time. Where exactly is AI contributing, or what is the role given by AI where I can actually benefit? But when we talk about deeper case studies, which is going to make our session much more meaningful, I think that's exactly where AI really steps in. Just a while ago, I had been interacting with several alumni to check out what exactly is the future and where do you think all the future graduates are going to stand out. Like I had a quick meeting this afternoon with several alumni who had come back to our campus, and the point which was expressed by many of them were that we need engineers who can think deeper now, because there are, let's say, MCA students, BCA students, many others who are studying AI, and all of the jobs which are at a very, let's say, something which could be done at a much lesser than the GPT level, they don't need engineering graduates. It means we need to prepare our students to think deeper. We definitely have to target the higher levels of the Bloom taxonomy or look for alternate taxonomies and make them better. So the now question that comes in is, how can I make them think such better? Like, how can I go them deeper into the coding? How can I make them sure that they're not understanding at a superficial level, but they get into the concept and they go to the depth of it. And, every 3 to 4 years, there's something called as mega trend, which comes in. So people usually analyze the data for 5 years. After that, they say this is going to be a mega trend. So in one more year, that's what I believe from mega trends, which is coming in, because it doesn't happen for 2 years. It usually happens after 5 or 7 years. We've been talking a lot that the facade of jobs are going to change. The question is going to be that what does that change? So most of them now predict that engineers need to go deeper. Like by default, they should start from the construct level. Otherwise, everyone else can do that. AI can do that. Or any person who has, let's say there's someone coming from sociology now, any person with a good sociological knowledge can go ahead. But to be at a job which is higher than that, they need to be made to think deeper to make them a better problem solver. And who can do that? Right usage of LLM, right context which we faculty set into the classrooms. And this is not just by engineering, by the way, whether they come from English, management, medicine, law, political science, sociology, the case study generation holds good for each and every one of us. And that's what we're going to do as well. If all of you are like fine and if we all are good to go, can I actually have go on to the chat window and say, just type SAT, okay? SAT now here represents several things. One is that I'm here sitting for the workshop. That is for one SAT. The second SAT actually represents it's Saturday, and I'm excited for the workshop. And Saturn, maybe it's like, yeah, that's what we are talking about. So any other interpretations? So go ahead, type me a SAT in the chat window to show that you're here so that we can get started, get a quick introduction of what we did in the last part and how we can make our sessions much better. Okay. So I can see that there is from Professor Paras, who has actually entered SAT already, but I want to see something more. Okay. I'm hoping that hoping to see a few other SAT as well. Yes, thank you, Sudhir Kumar sir, and one more with ID. Yeah, with IDs coming in. Yeah, Gunita ma'am, Anita ma'am, thank you so much for that. Sorry, G Anita ma'am, thank you so much for that. Anyone else? I want to know that you all are active and you all are here. So yes, thank you, Shivraj sir. Can see that. Anyone else? If you're here, please do type, and it will be like an interactive session. Interactive in the sense we all will be doing it together. By end of the workshop, we will be carrying ahead a ready case study to be used in our classroom. So I'm hoping you all are sitting in front of your laptop. We will be doing the activity together to give it a perfect, meaningful closure to what we were discussing on. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Pramod sir, as well. Hoping to see a few more SAT coming in. In the meantime, I'll quickly share my slides and take you over on what happened in the last session. Okay. Okay. Yes. So we started by talking about there's not just about one taxonomy. Like, yes, we are aware about Bloom's, but there are many other taxonomies which could take us to several levels. And that's what we explored last time, right? So what I'll be doing is have already shared the slides. You will be getting the slides very soon. But along with that, we have also listed out several taxonomies, right? And whatever collab link which you can see now, sorry, the GPT link which you can see now, I'll be making this link public once when the session gets over, and I'll be sharing this link to the session organization, which can be forwarded to you all, so that you'll get to know all the prompts. So this page will be made public. Don't worry, you will be getting this link of the GPT link where you can use it further for the further, let's say, explorations, generating new prompts and so on. But for today, we'll be doing this hands-on interactive one. We know that there is Bloom's taxonomy. We also checked out Solo and Flinks. And like I said, there are too many taxonomies which are there. So if there are many taxonomies which can help us think better, then why restrict only to Bloom's? Of course, my assessments at the end of the day can still be connected to Bloom's, but when we have a capability to go deeper into the cognitive level, bring in more insights, I think we should take especially like Webb's depth of knowledge. That's something which I've exhaustively used. We can also go for revised Bloom. We can go for model of skill acquisition or the BICS model, all of them coming from a very sound research background. Okay. Along with that, we saw that it's not just about remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating, but we want our students to go beyond evaluate and create. To make it more effective, we have also seen there is next one, which is FINKS, F-I-N-K-S, which starts from foundational knowledge, goes on to how to learn. Because see, currently, even if you see the refined criteria which has come in either by Washington Accord or Abbott, we have introduced sustainability. We have also introduced several major components like what is self-directed learning, transfer of knowledge. We want to be good critical thinkers. We want our students to be, let's say, most importantly, self-directed learners, along with being a lifelong learner so that they start learning. They know the method of learning and they also know how to learn ahead. And that's what is the highlighting stress of your FINKS taxonomy. Coming to solo taxonomy, which is yet another critical one, which goes from pre-structural knowledge to the extended abstract. So in the last session, we saw through the library examples on how these actually make a difference. So along with this slide, we don't need any more slides further. We went on to this spreadsheet. And all of us have entered our domain. We have entered threshold concept. Now, what's a threshold concept? For a quick revision, a transformatory concept. Something which is very troublesome to understand. It is integrative. It changes the understanding of a student. It's like, yes, I learned something good, or something which gives a totally different and new perspective to the students. And that's what is threshold concept. If we don't know what are we doing, we are going to the LLM and we are saying, list me all the threshold concept. We also found out what is a good taxonomy, and with respect to sociological and with respect to technical perspective, we have written what students already know. What are we now going to do is, I'm hoping all of you are here, like your names are already there. If not, I'll be sharing the screen. I'll be sharing this link once again. Okay. So yes, I'll go to this. I'll share up your link once again so that you all can further. Okay. Yeah. So let me share that here. Yes. So you can come to the sheet. Okay. Sorry. That is supposed to be the link. Looks like I didn't copy. Let me share it once again. Yeah. Copy the link and yes. So let me share that in the chat window. We all will be working in the same link itself. We'll be going ahead and continuing. Plus we'll understand what is the power of that powerful case studies. Okay. So come in here, do come into the spreadsheet, look at your name wherever you have written. I have seen that some of the names have gone after 200, 300 as well, right? Like, yeah, there are a lot of them below as well. Try to be within, like, no need to go till 240 and all. Okay. You can also copy paste it cells which are much ahead of this. So please do come back there. And we have written all the things which are there along with what is that question which we used to ask. Okay, that's what we have completed. So we'll go ahead, we'll slowly understand how research actually promotes this and what exactly we're talking about. And we'll try to fill up the remaining part. And with hands-on, we'll be finishing up the remaining parts. Okay, so come on to the spreadsheet, look at where your name is and go for that. So what we're going to do next is we are going to fill up those parts which students do not know. Okay. Again, the spreadsheet is editable. You can come in here. You can check out like the parts which you will be now editing and going on. So what we'll next do is, yeah, if you don't have access to the laptop, I would recommend that we all are sitting here learning through this. Please do go back, get your systems because we will be working together. Okay. So come on to the link, check out where your name is. What we'll do next is, this is what zone of proximal development talks about. In the meantime, let me give you a quick short description about what learning trajectory did Vygotsky talk about. Okay, by the time, in the meantime, you come onto the spreadsheet. So there is a conceptual framework called as liminality. Liminality is nothing but whenever a new knowledge is presented to a student, it's not that every student learns it in a straight line. As a faculty, we conveyed the concept to the students and students understood it like perfectly, like it's there and we are ready. Doesn't happen that way. Sometimes the student needs a video to be seen. Sometimes the students need repeated revision to be told with several case studies. There are some students, maybe because of their prior knowledge, they quickly understand what I'm talking about. And there are certain students where they are the slowest in the class, but they're curious to learn. They're like, oh, if you give me one more example, I'll probably understand what you're talking about. But I think you need to give me a lot more better examples or something which I can connect to, or don't make the example too complicated. Let the example be something simple which I can get. So the learning trajectory of a student can be straight line. Like you told the concept, they grasped it, they're done. Like they are ready with them. Or they take a lot of zigzag, more than your sign, like, samajh mein aaya, nahi aaya, like a little understood here, a little understood there. Maybe I need more examples. You go on slowly and then finally they reach to the final level. And then they say, okay, after 5 examples, I think now I finally get it. And this is what liminality talks about. Whenever we are bridging such trajectories, it says, or Vygotsky says, can you connect between known and unknown? That is, there's a known information which students have, and we are trying to bridge it, connect it with something which can add like slow points of connection. Like, oh, you know this, then let's extend to this point, or let's go on to this point. Keep adding the points slowly one by one so that they finally come into the phase of understanding the complete concept. This is what is your zone of proximal development or liminality based case studies. That's what we'll do now. Rather than going to LLM and saying, look, I want to generate a case study for so-and-so concept, please generate me. We'll be using this trigger point, slowly prompting to learn what is the best way to give a case study. And that's what we're going to do. So I'll be going back to my screen once again. I'll share the screen so that we'll go ahead and fill up the next part. Okay. So what I want you all to do is, in the meantime, yes, go on to the part of what student don't know. See, in the case of concept which you have picked, I want you all to enter what is that concept which you don't know, like what is that student are supposed to be learn. In this case, they are supposed to be knowing. Okay, see, we talked with the concept of graph traversal, and now my students don't know about, let's say, DFS and BFS. Okay, that's what I want to teach. And that comes up in this column. So go ahead, take a minute's time and kindly fill up this column so that you know what you're testing on. Okay. So go up to the space wherever you have previously written, whichever part you're working on. Go to the next column and add the part which you want to teach. Okay, and that's what you'll be doing as well. So take a minute's time, go ahead and go that. I'll be showing you later on how this actually makes an impact and what difference does it provide when we actually try to capture all those details. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we reduce this a little. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's going there. Go in and type in. So I'll give a little more time. You can go ahead. So let's say, for example, you are teaching client server versus peer-to-peer communication models. You're just going to say, what do students don't know? Students don't know about my client server model. Okay, that's something which they know. Yeah. Like example, like Kavita ma'am says, as she has written leadership models there. Yes, they don't know about leadership model, but they don't know about culture and dimensions of the culture. Okay, culture and dimensions of culture, dimensions, yeah, of the culture. So go ahead and fill up that. What you can also do is if you're somewhere too below and you're typing it, you can actually take up and copy paste it somewhere above also. Okay, that should also be good enough to go. In the meantime, let me also add today's date because as it's a continuation, I'll just edit the date to 20 years also. Okay, 15th and September. So what we'll do next is, yeah, whoever's there, please do enter it. Next, this is something which we're going to add for the case of applications in case the LLM fails to do that. There could be a small possibility that whatever case study we are generating might not be very much in connection to what students are. However, this case is very, very low. I have experimented with around 30 to 40 case studies. There was not a single day where I felt LLM has surprised me with a very poor case study. That has never happened. But what I would recommend is in case as a backup, like say if it doesn't work out, I want you all to have a certain list which could help us further. For example, when I talk about graph traversal, usually we also have crawler. Okay, like say this could be one of my potential applications or finding out disconnected components. Okay, this could be our next one as well. So this is what I want you all to do. Go ahead and fill up some applications which you already know from your class. Could be right. Like you're teaching this concept from several times, and this is possibly the question which you would generally ask. So what I want you all to do is go to the next column of applications and just fill up like, yeah, this is one application which is there, but we are not going to use it. Okay, we are not going to use it in any of the LLM cases. It's not required for us. So just write out one or two applications. Yeah, method of analysis could be one. If anyone else is writing, just write up the simple application. Okay. Yeah. So go and fill it up. The next one is going to be interesting. Okay. You will be surprised to know the number of applications which the method which you're carrying actually is involved in it. Okay. And the next column is going to be the most interesting one. You will find and you will see that, oh, like I didn't knew there were so many principles which were actually involved in the concept which I'm teaching. So take up a minute time, enter the applications of whatever concept you're teaching. So we'll go ahead and we'll use this G column only if it is required for a backup. Okay. Yes. Sudhi sir, if the name is not there in the sheet, I would recommend that probably you would have done it on a local copy in the past one. You can just add your name. Okay. So this is a continuation from the last one which we did. In the last session, we emphasized mostly on taxonomies and the first part of zone of proximal development. Today, we are going ahead. We'll also learn about effectiveness of using different prompts. Okay. And it's going to be very much evident when we go. So anyone who doesn't have their name, please go and take a minute time and quickly fill up the remaining part which is there. Okay. That should really help out to go. Not a problem if it's not there. Should be totally okay to go and add now. That should be perfectly fine. There's also another thing which I want to highlight as we go ahead. See, please don't limit the AI applications or usage of AI with respect to tools only. What I've seen in some of the schools or in the name of AI buzzword is that people use the same tools which they were using earlier. And now that AI is being prefixed everywhere, they just say, look, like this is now an AI based tool. And I think it's not right to use those terminologies. Using the same tools which existed from 2 decades and now rebranding them with the name AI doesn't serve the purpose, or it doesn't actually make a difference to your classrooms. What I would rather insist is whenever you open a class, please start with a case study or please discuss an application. Now, there was a time where I had to spend a lot of time, do a Google search, sit and think and try to see what is the best application which I can take to my classroom. But today it's very, very easy. I just go to LLM. You don't even need to have a paid version. Take the free version of it and just say, this is the concept I'm teaching. I'm going to teach to my students. Please give me 5 examples where I can start with. That's it. And I would say that please don't give this prompt generically. Rather, what you can say is give the prompting and say, can you please give me some examples coming from sociological perspective? Whether you come from engineering, medicine, management, English, HR, any other domain, use the term sociological, because when you say that, it will give you from the social science. Because every scientific discovery has happened which is coming from the base of your sociology itself. The theories of Karl Marx, Auguste de Comte, or whoever were the prominent thinkers of back then, like Plato, Aristotle, whatever theories they gave, all of them today form the basis for the new age applications which we are talking about. So don't worry about what kind of applications you're getting. If you just make a small tweak to, let's say, for example, give me a simple small application where I can relate it to the sociology, where everybody can understand that. You give such an application and then you take your class forward, and that's going to make much difference. Okay. Yeah, I see there is a raised hand. If there is any question, it can be put in the sheet as well. Otherwise, if time permits, we can go ahead with the Q&A. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, let's go back. Let's go to the next most interesting part. Okay. I'll go back and share my screen again. Yes. And this is what we were doing, right? So all of us have written some applications. I can see a few of them coming in. We'll continue with whoever's there. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, we have just written some applications. What I want you all to now do is go to your favorite LLM. Okay. I'm going to use ChatGPT. You can go for DeepSeek, Gemini, like whatever is your convenient one. And you're going to give this prompt. So I'm going to slowly type it. Please do type it with me. I'm going to do it very slow. You're just going to say, I am teaching the concept of DFS and BFS. So how did this come in? This is coming in now from the same column which we had. Remember, we saw this column here, right? The threshold concept name. So you've taken up the threshold concept name, which is graph traversal, and I'm teaching about DFS and BFS, right? So you are going to teach them about DFS and BFS. Now I want to know what are the principles which are used in them. And trust me, you would have never even known that teaching these principles, this abstraction was existing or could actually help students in much better way. Okay. So I'll go to my LLM and say, I'm teaching the concept of DFS and BFS. List me all the principles associated with it. Okay. And then I'll add a prompt, just make a list. So no need to give me the detailed prompt. You just give me a list of all the principles which are there. So I'm just going to say, and I'm going to paste this in the chat window as well. Okay. So in case of wherever your course was, what are you going to do? You're just going to change your course name. Okay. That's what you're going to do. So you will take ahead this prompt. Okay. That's what I'm pasting in the chat window name, concept of. So I'm going to cut out my concept name. Okay. And I'm just going to give you the template. So in the place of template, which I have now pasted in the chat window, where I said concept name, there you will enter your threshold concept name. Okay, whatever you're teaching now. So you will just say, I'm teaching the concept of DFS and BFS. List me all the principles associated with it. And I'm saying sometimes what happens is LMS gives you a long description, right? Like this is it, this is it, this is the paragraph. We don't want it. We just want a list. Okay, let's see the principles then. Okay, for me, it has given me 2 principles now. Associated, it is giving me 2 principles. I'm just going to select one of them. Okay, doesn't matter whether it is going for separate them into core or recursions. Let me pick one of them. I'm pretty sure you would not be getting the same one, right? Ordering. I think for me, the first one is actually making more sense. So I'm going to pick the first response. Okay, yeah, I've kept this one. Now, do you see this? Before teaching DFS and BFS, in my case, I was supposed to be teaching all these things to the students. The ordering principles, the path discovery principles, the graph representation. Graph representation I have already covered to students. Systematic exploration of vertices I have not covered. Use of auxiliary data structures I have not talked to students yet. Marking principles I have not taught them yet. Path discovery I have not taught them yet. I haven't taught them so many things which are listed here. Do you see that? I'm pretty sure you would be getting many such interesting concepts as well. Especially it is coming from humanities or English. Trust me, you will be getting all the list. I can also go ahead and last. Can you list me some principles? Okay. Can you list me related principles from sociology? Okay. I can do that also. When I say sociology, it means it's going to bring in the real-time context into the class. Okay? I'll just say this. Can you list me related principles from sociology? Right? So yes. So I'm going to paste this in the chat window as well, so that it'll be easy for you all to type. Let's go with that. Yeah. So where did my chat window go? Okay. Yes. So let me paste that in the chat window as well. Okay. So that's a prompt which I said. So I gave for both. Do you all see this centrality, strength, and weak ties principle, social network theory, small word principles? It means we always think, okay, we as a teacher, when we are biased towards the course which we are teaching, we always tend to believe this is the only concept and my theory, my subject is the only subject which actually is dealing with it. But it's not the case. When we talk about abstraction, there are too many social phenomena for that. So it's always better. See, if you can uh, see what this also says is this way when teaching DFS BFS, you can also show students that these algorithms don't just belong to computer science. They're powerful ways of analyzing social phenomenon too. It means there are too many principles which are coming from sociology world which I can relate to my computer science, and I'm pretty sure even in your course, whatever you're teaching, whatever domain you come in from, it would have listed you all the related theories. When I generate a case study using these theories, trust me, it will be very, very effective. There's a huge difference between telling, give me a case study and on DFS, BFS, or design me a case study using strength and weak ties principle, using social network theory. It's going to make a huge difference in the entire list of case study you're going to create. So what I'm going to do is, from this part, I'm going to pick 2 or 3 most important ones. Okay. Say, for example, systematic exploration of vertices and edges. So I'm going to copy this one, go ahead and add it to my principles column. You see the last column, right? So go ahead and add it there. Copy the first one, and that's what you're going to do. I'm hoping all of you have got this right. I'm hoping you have got a lot of interesting other theories as well. Similarly, I'll go and check out use of auxiliary data structures, stacks and queues, because I want my case study to be involving this also. So I'm going to add that as a third one. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and check which other principles can I add. Backtracking, layer level, space and time, cycle detection. I'll just go for path discovery. Okay. Because this seems more generic and maybe much more useful for me. Okay. So what I'm doing is, as you can see, I have taken up all the nearest close one. You can pick 3 or 4. Okay. Not necessarily you have to pick one, or don't pick all of them. Just pick 2 or 3 important ones. And you can also pick one from this. Let's say, for example, what's the most important one? Nodes discovered through repeated traversal. Don't need this. Different edge strength influence connectivity, small word principles, shortest path. Okay, relates to BFS, social network theory. Let me pick the first one itself. Makes a difference, makes an importance. So I'm going to use that. Okay. So I'll also go for the social network theory. So far good. So I want you all to do the same. Give the prompt and try to list 1 or 2 principles. Okay. So take a minute's time. In the meantime, let me know if you have any doubts. What have I done? I've used 2 prompts. I've said, list me, I'm teaching DFS, BFS, list me all the principles associated with it. That's a prompt which I used. Went ahead and took up a few 2 to 3 prompts which are important for me. And along with that, I came in for the sociology and also picked up one important point which I felt it is crucial for me. You can pick anything else as well. Okay, so I'm going to stop my sharing my screen here. So what you can now do is go back. You can pick 1 or 2 of them and please do add them into the sheet which is there. Okay, yeah. 2 or 3 should be good. Okay, ideally, as a faculty, you can decide which of them are the most important ones. Okay. Yes, so go ahead, fill them up. You can take a minute's time. By the way, if anyone sees, oh, I didn't knew these are the ones, you can just paste it in the chat window as well. You can tell me, oh, I wasn't knowing ki like these many related theory are there. For example, you can see structural functionalism, social equilibrium theory, which is all seeming interesting, right? Like social cultural theory, cultural norms and values, socializations, yes. Any other such related theories you see. Yeah, diagonalization and quadratic form, Heisenberg's principle, domain characteristic learning to handle heterogeneity. Yes. Yeah, I see a lot of interesting principles which are coming by. So yeah, take a minute or more. If there's anyone else doing it, please do finish it. Okay. And we'll then slowly go ahead for the next one. Yes. Okay. In the meantime, if there's any question or if anything which you feel needs to be discussed before going, I know the taxonomy hasn't been talked yet, right? We'll come back to that very soon. Okay? Yeah. Now, we'll just have a quick 1 minute discussion on why are we doing this. Now, see, being a person or being an engineer who has worked on how LLMs are designed, like how the templates are formed and how it generates the case study, the more deeper is your prompt, the better is the case study for its exploration. Think it as a machine where you're trying to feed and give certain data. The more you train on it, the deeper you go with the prompt, the better will be the case study, because there's so much of data to learn from. It just doesn't know where to establish the context. It doesn't know where to get the right meaning from. And if your prompts are very simple, it doesn't even bother to go in a deeper direction. It'll just think, okay, you wanted a case study. Here's a case study which I can give, which may or may not be effective. But when we have a AI tool, see, imagine in this way. Somebody is telling me that I am an expert, then to an expert, why are we asking L11 questions? If the someone claims that they are expert, they have humongous amount of data, then we are supposed to be exploiting that knowledge and advantage, right? So it's always better to get things at a L6 level, or say application level, or lifelong learning level, or self-directed learning level, rather than just sticking up to understand at memory level. So when you list the applications, how is this coming from? Again, the importance of threshold concepts being understood, the play around known and unknown, liminality, which helps the students to bridge the concept that we have. That's how it is going to come in. What we'll now do is we'll go ahead and we'll start giving the final prompt to our LLM. Okay. So let me share my screen again. This time I'll go very, very slowly, okay, because we'll be doing this together now. And I want to see some more principles coming in use. I can see at least 8 to 10 of them, which is still a good number. Let's go ahead with them. Let's go up and let's finish up the next part. Okay. So now I'll say, I want to design, okay, type it along with me. I want to design a case study for the concept. Okay. I want to design a case study for the concept DFS and BFS. Or what am I doing here? I'm going to this sheet which is there, and I'm picking up this threshold concept name. Okay, concept of graph traversal. What I can also do for the concept of graph traversal. And I also know the name of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say this is DFS, BFS. That's my first point. I want to design a case study for the concept of graph traversal. So that's what we're going to type first. What we'll now do is we'll cleverly take the prompt slowly and use these which are coming from the research base and fill up our entire template to create a very meaningful case study. So then I'll slowly go ahead and say, I want to design a case study for the concept graph traversal. And I'll say my students, type it slowly along with me. My students already know. Okay, that's my next part. They already know. Yeah, sorry, with my keyboard, there's always an issue with that. So what I now do is I'll go to column E and copy paste this part. You see that I'm just copying it and pasting it here. Okay. My students already know about paths to be taken, direction, graphs, traversal in layman way. They don't know about, that will be my next part. So where do I pick this from? From the column F. Okay. They don't know about DFS and BFS, something which I'm teaching now. Then I'll say use the principles. Okay. Use the principles. So I'll slowly now go to column number H. Please do remember, you don't need to have applications. Okay. So we'll go for applications. We'll go for applications only if LLM is not giving us a good case study. Otherwise, we'll not use this application part. This is only a backup plan in case our plan fails. Okay. Otherwise, we're still gonna go for the principles in use. Application call. The column G will not be required. And then I'll say they don't know about DFS, BFS. Use the principles and copy paste the next line. Okay. That's how I built my prompt. So I want to design a case study for the concept of graph traversal, whatever threshold concepts we were handling. My students already know about the paths to be taken. They know the direction. They know the graph traversals in layman way. They don't know about the column which is coming in, right? I'll say that. So what did we do? I'll just quickly repeat how we build the prompt. I want to build a case study on column C, that is this one. My students already know about column E, whatever we have filled in here. They don't know about column F, whatever we have typed in here. Use the principles which is in column H. Okay, don't hit enter yet. We are still supposed to add a few things. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and say, now design a case study. This is also very important. Okay, design a case study which see, trust me, it's going to make a huge difference just by adding this small prompt. Design a case study which the current generation students, okay, can connect to. So what I'm now saying is, look, you can actually generate several case studies to make it more interesting. But I'm saying design a case study now which the current generation students can connect to. So the prompt is so effective that even if anything's changed after 5 years, and if your LLM is trained on huge amount of data, you can still have a new perspective to the case, because LLMs keep learning, right? They can always have a new way of perceiving the case study. So I'm saying design a case study which the current generation students can connect to. Then I'll add, don't use any technical terms. Okay, this is also important because I don't want to have a case study which lists out all the technical terms. So I'm saying don't use any technical terms. Then I'll say use the, in this case, I'm going to say use solo taxonomy. Okay. So what am I saying? Now see, I've been so specific about so many things. Look at this prompt. It's effective, right? You're saying what students know, what students don't know. You have listed out certain principles. You have said use a case study which current generation students can connect to. You're also saying don't use any technical terms in this. And then we are saying use the solo taxonomy. What I'll quickly do is, in order to help you all to make it more effective, which you can actually use it later into your classrooms, I'm going to paste this template into the chat window now. So what we'll do is, I want to design a case study for the concept of, and wherever there is a placeholder, I'm going to cut the part and I'm just going to keep a ... part with a square brackets. Okay, my students already know and I'm going to have to put it. Okay, I'm just preparing the prompt. Okay, give me a second for that. They don't know about, like I said, I'm just going to create this template for you. Okay, use the principles. I'm still going to say cut it and then put forth. Yeah. So as you can now see in the chat window, that's a template which I want you all to use. So you all can see that, right? I want to design a case study for concept of ... My students already know ... They don't know about ... Use the principles in column H. Now design a case study with current generation students can connect to. Don't use any technical terms. Use the solo. I'll further tell you all what kind of trigger prompts which can add later in order to go ahead. And let's now hit the enter key. Okay. By the way, my son, who's now 11-year-old, keeps using this LLM as well. So when it says perfect Vivain, it's actually my son's name. Okay. And do you all see the difference? He's just 11-year-old. He's still in his 4th standard. So whenever he wants something, he keeps coming here and interacting with ChatGPT in my absence, because generally I tell him don't use it. That's Vivain, by the way. So it's Vivain is actually my son who exhaustively uses. Now, what you should know is if my 11-year-old can actually use LLM this exhaustive, like I didn't even knew when was the day he said, my name is Vivain, please answer to me it in this way. So if 11 years old using his chat GPT to get his task done, I think you should know how your students are going to come in and use as well. Now see, finding a friend in a new city. So this is a context which is created, social map. Now with a solo taxonomy level, see, it's at a very surface. So it is creating a slow case study one by one. Okay. Each of the principal part and outcome. What I'll now do is, see, because it has listed me with respect to solo, right? I want to make it a little more specific. I'll go ahead and now add my further prompt. I'll say, make a generic, or let's not say generic, okay? Make a case study without labeling the levels of solo because I want it right. By the way, you might have not got it in this way. Basically, LLM differs from person to person, how you use it and what way you have given the prompt. Okay, because see, I don't want a case study to say this is a relational level, this is extended abstract level, and so on. Rather, what I'll say is make a case study without labeling the levels of solo. Okay, that's what I'll give so that I get a good generic case study. Now, see, yes, it has now built an entire case study about different ways. Okay. And it is saying the story builds up. Yes. See, do you see this? Go for this. Would you like to add discussion questions? I'll say yes. This is how you're going to go. Add 5 discussion questions. Okay. Questions. Let this be related to solo. That's what I'm going to say because I want some discussion questions as well. So now it will go ahead and give you a different case study and then ask like, if you only asked one friend at a time until you found senior, how long, what could go wrong? The kind of questions it asks, right? It is actually picked up from the way your students learn. Remember the slides which I'd shown earlier for you? That's how exactly it's going to go. If as a person, if I was not using LLM, trust me, it would have taken a lot of time to teach these concepts or even to formulate the right question. Which method would be better if you wanted to find the quickest way to reach the senior? Why? So basically, it means your case study has listed here several ways and it is trying to correlate which is the best way. If anyone can read out a question which you have got for your and tell me like, is it really good or is it effective or how good or bad is it? Or you can just read. Okay, I have tried this experiment several times, but this is the new case study which I've got. Like every time when I run this, it gives me a new kind of case study. But I think I don't want to appreciate my case study here because I have already used it. And I know you all are coming from very different domains. Rather, I want you all to, if you have got a case study now, I want you all to tell me like how good is a case study and how good are the discussion questions. Okay, like what kind of questions it is asking. I don't need to be mapped to solo level yet. If there is anything coming from, you can tell me in the chat window and tell me like, is the question good, is the question bad, or how is it going? Do you think it's making a difference, or do you think it's like good or bad, or do you see the difference in the case studies? Okay, that's what we're going to do. So let me know if you need any further prompt which I've used just to generate here. What we'll do is, because it's already around 43 minutes, we'll take a quick biological break of 2 minutes. Okay, so if you want to stretch yourself, if you want to have a quick gulp of water or relax a little, because I know you've been sitting from a very long time since 3 o'clock. So take that biological quick 2 minutes break. We'll come back and we'll further discuss. In the meantime, you're free to play around with the prompt and also let me know in the chat window on like, is the case study good? Is it helping? And so on. Okay, a quick 2 minutes water break. Let's do that. Yeah. And those who have tried with a case study, if you found out something good, just give a quick glance. I know it'll be a little bigger. If you think the case study is good, if you think it's working out, please do let me know. Okay, because we're going to try with 2, 3 alternatives now, and we're going to see like what kind of case study it is coming in. Okay. Yeah, and we'll be picking the best one among the 3 of them. Okay, so whatever is there, you can definitely do that. So have a quick break of 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. We'll resume back very soon. In the meantime, however your case studies, please do let me know in the chat window as well, so that we'll see like, is it really effective or how it's going on. Okay. go on. In the meantime, if any questions, like we're taking a quick short break of 2 minutes. If anything, please do let me know as well. And by the way, the prompt which is given is just, see, that's the core part. And if you think you want to add something more to it, or if you want to customize it based on your course, you're free to do that. Basically, that prompt is prepared by using the zone of proximal development and threshold concepts and the different taxonomies that are existing. So it's an amalgamation of all the different things which are there. But like I said, if you want to change it over, if you want to put some more things, you're free to do that. It's just a structured template to go ahead based on those research concepts, free to be explored further, free to be made much more effective as well. Okay. Yeah, but we'll take around 30 more seconds and we'll resume back with the different explorations. Okay. Yeah. So let's slowly get back. Let's slowly get back and continue with the different taxonomies to see what role and what advantage we can explore out of it. So I'll start resharing my screen and I'll go back to the case which I had given. Now I can see that, hey, look, it's like quite interesting because the question tells me, can you think of a real world situation, okay, where one method works better than the other? It means the case study which is generated and given to me has explored across DFS and BFS. And now it is also making students think on which of them has to go. Now I'll say as a next prompt, can you now generate me the same case study, okay, study using Fink's taxonomy. Okay. So what I'm now trying to do is see LLM, right? It's not me who's going to put in a lot of effort to know like which of them is better or something. I'm just giving different prompts to explore which of them is better. I'm just saying, can you now generate me? We'll not say can you now. Okay, we'll just say generate me. That should be enough. Generate me the same case study using Fink's taxonomy. Okay, have a look at those questions. Okay, it is saying search. How would your search look different if you first asked all your close friends before you moving further? Remember, or say if you're from computer science background, generally we go from one level to another, exploring everything at same level. And that's the beauty of the concept which is getting related to. It's now telling you that what if we explored in this way? Would it be beneficial? Okay. So we tried with solo and now my case study, I'm saying Finks. So let's see how the discussion question would be different from what is there. See, what are the two different ways of exploring? It is asking me that if your goal was to meet the senior as quickly as possible, which method would you pick? So based on the prompts which are there from Finks, it has now changed the question, okay, like the way we were. And of course, when we give it to students now, we don't need to give this, right? We don't need to give this foundational knowledge, application, and so on. We can just go without mentioning those things. What I can also do is, I can further say, can you now generate me the case study using Bloom? Okay. I'm going to tell you why we are doing this. Okay, so now I'm saying like, look, generate me the case study using Bloom's taxonomy. So then let's see how the question goes. Of course, now based on the Bloom's level, it's now generated me 6 questions and it has said like, if you had a limited time, which method would you consider? Strength and weakness of one friend at a time method versus all friends first. Do you see the beauty of it? Visiting one friend at a time, all friends first. This is kind of covering me the depth first and breadth first search. And that's the beauty of using different levels. What I'll now also do is, let me pick up one more from the different taxonomies that were there. So what I'll do is, let's say I have heard that web's depth of knowledge is a very nice taxonomy. And I'll go ahead and say, do the same. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Okay, do the same using web of depth. That's what I'm giving next. Okay. So I'll give you all around 30 seconds. Please do try with all of them. We tried with Solo, we tried with Think, we tried with Bloom, and I'm also going to try with Webb's depth of knowledge. Okay, and of course, it's going to give me the set of questions with respect to Webb's depth of knowledge now. Okay, yeah. So let the case study get generated and let's see how it's going to be different. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a comparison table to find out how each of them is behaving. And then we're going to pick up the right one for our students because we know what our learning objectives are, right? Like we know what we want our students to be testing in. Okay, yeah. So what are the two different ways? Yeah, questions. See, the beauty of all these levels are there are certain common parts across all of them. But how deeper can you take your students? Like what benefits do you want to give to your students? That usually differs from the kind of strategy you want to use and where you want to go. Okay, so that's going to make a difference and check out like how exactly or what knowledge you want to go and how do you want to make it over. Okay, yeah. Yes, this is what we were looking for. Okay, lay out a single side-by-side matrix. I'll say yes. I'll say give me a comparison. Now see, if you have missed out anything in between in this, don't worry. If you have tried only with one, that's also not a problem. Give me a comparison table of all four we designed. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Because see, this way it is much better, right? So it's going to give me a table and it's going to tell me like, okay, like what are the different ways I can go with and do you see this? Let's go first on this. Okay, see, by Solo, the key takeaway is it's great for threshold concepts, surface to deep. Bloom is best for structured cognitive progression. Think adds emotion values and lifelong connections. Web is focusing on task complexity and real world transfer. So if your learning objective said that you want to go for transfer of knowledge, then web is the right taxonomy to use. If you wanted to use for the threshold concept, that's also the reason why most of us listed taxonomy here. It gave Solo to most of us, right? Like Solo, yeah, Bloom's and Solo. Like the reason for that was the same because we did get to know that either revised Bloom or Solo can be a better one, especially for the threshold concepts. It is going to be the better one. Okay, that's how it's going to be. So let's see what is the complexity, what is the focus as it has shown in the focus. See, let us see the learning outcome for each of them. Now, what I want you to also know is with a table which is generated now, okay, yeah, you can see this table, right? You can copy it. Do you see there is something called as learning outcome here? It now tells you that what are students learning from each of the taxonomy. And what I want you all to do is whenever you design such a case study, check out which learning outcome is it mapping to. Or alternative, what you can do is my learning outcome is so and so. Can you help me select the right taxonomy? That's also an alternate way of knowing or understanding how exactly you should be choosing your case study. Okay. What I'll rather now do is because there is too much of information. Let us say I'm running late to the class and I'm like, oh, there's like too many works which I have. And what I'm gonna now do is I'll say I want my students to understand, because this is generally where we go, right? I want my students to understand the concept at deeper level. Please select me the best one among four. One top taxonomy. Because you know your LLMs are usually very, very decent. It will not tell you one. It will say you can do this, you can also do this, you can also do this. We don't want that. I just want like one top taxonomy because I want my students need to go to the deeper level and I want the top one for. You can also add my class R is 60 minutes or whatever is your time. See, sometimes we have our class constraints, right? Are you doing this activity in the lab, which is of 3 hours? Or do you have a combined classroom of 120 minutes? Or is your classroom of 60 minutes? Or do you want to just use this for 20 minutes of your class, 30 minutes of your class? That's exactly what you're supposed to be doing as well. So you can always add a prompt. See, what did we do? We first took a prompt. We made it very clear. We generated 4 different, and you're free to pick the different taxonomies. Okay. Once when we had the case study and we had questions to test them, We are now saying that select me one best one and my class hour is 60 minutes. And we're going to let decide, okay, solo. And see, it has also listed out why solo taxonomy you have to use. Okay, so it's going from surface to deep, plus it is integrating the different strategies, plus a suggested breakdown. Generally, so far when I've never used this breakdown because in real classrooms, it doesn't work much better. See, all I wanted was, I wanted to know among this, which is the top best solo taxonomy. Okay, now I'll say, if I use solo, tell me what am I testing, okay, in my students. If I use solo, tell me what am I testing. I'll tell you all why we are going to go for this prompt. Okay, this is related to something which we have already done earlier. So let's see that. It recommended me that I'll go for solo. And when I use solo, so I'm testing all this. I'm like, no, this is like too much of information. I'll tell me in, okay, 100 words. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Do you see this? Something is coming, right? Like, see, let's not bother about this. Okay. I know you can always go back later and you can check and read this and you can spend some more time to understand this. I'm just helping you all with how exactly we can actually make the best use of LLM at our hands. I'm just saying, see, if you want to go for rubrics, you can go for assessment criteria. You can design whatever you want at further go. But what did I do first slowly? I said among the different taxonomies, I first got to know that what is the key takeaway from each four. From that, I then said, select me the top one taxonomy which I can use. By the way, yeah, if you have messed up somewhere in between, don't worry. I'll be sharing this collab link very soon. Sorry, GPT link very soon. It'll be made as public. You can further follow all the prompts which I've given and refine it according to your need as well. Then what I'm saying is, okay, it has got me solo. I said, what are my students learning? Then I also got a 100-word summary. So what I'm now going to do is, whatever summary I have got here, I'm going to copy this one because this is what I'm testing now, right? This is what I'm testing now. And I'll go to the sheet and I'll go to the question section and I'll be pasting it here. Okay. This is the question version one, by the way. So now I'm saying, okay, now I'm saying that, look, earlier I used to write examples and trace it, write a program, explain different questions. But now, see, something is happening. I don't know what, okay? Could be anything, or things are probably like, say, it's like I said, it's too huge paragraph. I'm not even reading it, but I'll be using again LLM to comprehend it for me. Okay, don't worry much on that part. If you already reached there, I want you all to copy it and paste it here. Okay. Yeah. So I think the ones which are coming here are the previous ones. Don't worry much on this part. But if you have followed the steps so far, which we have done, yes, please do copy paste whatever you have so that we will understand. Yeah, correct. We'll understand. So I see that, yes, Athar sir is already doing it. Thank you, sir. I see that you did go for Finks. That's kind of nice. Okay, for me, it recommended solo. I can see that you have recommended with Finks, but if you have anything else recommended, please go for it. Okay, whatever it recommends. I'll still give you all around half a minute or 1 minute time. By the way, if anyone in between needs some help on like, okay, this part was not clear, please do let me know, like, help me with this prompt, please do let me know. We'll go ahead. Okay. Okay. Okay, I can see that Ravishwara sir is saying that tried with, sorry, okay, sorry, I think yeah, what am I doing with this? Sorry, okay, yes, yeah. Okay, the prompt is given. Yes. Ravishwara sir, yes, good to hear that. I see that there is an excellent result coming in. Good to know that. Okay, I can also see blooms along with examples of rubrics. It's perfect for using for my class. Yes, I can see that. Good that it is helping out. Okay, but if you put the summary, it's going to be much more effective because I'll tell you all later now how to use this and how to come up with your learning outcomes because we all have that problem, right? Like they tell us your learning outcomes are not good and so on. So what I'm going to now do is I'm going to take this one, okay, and I'm going to say, go back and say, earlier, I used to test This, okay. I used to test this. Now with case study, okay. Now with case study, I have, that's what we are doing. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, or it's already there in your LLM also. So I'm going to say, look, earlier I used to test this with case study. Now I have this. Okay. What is the improvement? Okay. Write me in 50 words. I'm also going to tell you all next what to do. Okay. Why is this going to be helpful? So I've just given my prompt saying earlier it was this one. Now I'm testing this. Tell me what is the improvement. And let us see what it is giving me. See, do you see this here? The improvement is a shift from testing surface level to deeper understanding. So students have moved beyond the procedures to comparing strategies, integrating outcomes, like transferring the conceptual level, forget about this fostering and all, like adaptability, connections, and rather. Now I'll say, write me a good learning outcome for this. Okay. So I'll just say, write me a good learning outcome for this, because this is something which we can use it in our class, right? I'll just say shorter, okay, because we directly don't use this big ones, right? Yeah, students will be able to compare traverse strategies, explain their outcomes, and apply the concept of graph traversals to real world context. Makes perfectly sense, right? So what I can also do is, now if the concept which we are teaching was not just for graph and many other concepts, you can integrate them. So you can say along with the graph traversals, it can be like sorting techniques, searching techniques, explain their outcomes, apply to the concept of traversal to the real world. That's how you can formulate as well. Now, what you can also do is, let's say you were writing a research paper to a conference and you wanted to tell out what did you gain by this activity. So this shift, whatever it has said with a case study, can be an excellent way to present your results and discussions. See, let us have a quick discussion on how this is all going to be beneficial. So what you will do is, you will first take up the case of, let's say, you went down to one taxonomy. You found out that this was being very effective for you. After that, you tried with several other taxonomies, got a new learning outcome as well, maybe collected the student data, you graded those case studies, you gave some marks, the scores are also with you based on the learnings which are there. Now, if let's say if you want to write a research paper where you want to show how exactly your case studies differ, that's exactly what you can do. You can now pick up the summary and say that this is the transformation change which has happened. I know we might be having a question key. Look, my learning outcome has to be there at a Bloom's level. What do I do with this now? Because this is on Finks, it might not meet to my criteria, right? Now, there's also a solution for that. We need not worry key. Look, my all lesson plan has Bloom's taxonomy, but this is a new taxonomy which I can't relate to. Please do remember, these case studies are students' learning purpose. Once when it is learned, your assessment can happen on the Bloom's taxonomy itself, which is what is going to be our next part. So in the spreadsheet, you can see there is a sheet also labeled with reflections. That's where we're going to enter. But before we go in there, I want to give a proper flow on how your classes are going to look like. And this is what I would recommend for this case studies. One, let us say you want to use these kind of liminality case studies where you have at least 1 hour time. Please don't go and do this. Let's say if you have 20 minutes, because you're going to rush through and your students will not have enough time for discussion. So what's going to happen is, like, your students going to come in, they'll be like, okay, there's a case study given in, and but then, yeah, you will not even know like how exactly the time has to be spent, because the discussion has to happen at least for 30 minutes. The students need to be talking about it. Once when the discussion happens, once when the questions have been answered, you go ahead and introduce that new concept. This is where you go and teach, okay, there is something called DFS, BFS. This is what it means. Can you now relate to the case study which you have studied? Because we want a deeper level thinking, right? That's exactly what we want to do. So I want your classes to be structured in exact same way. Okay. So before we go further, let's, in the meantime, when you're exploring or still doing or entering the spreadsheet, let's take a quick 1 minute bio break. Okay. So have a quick 1 minute water break. We'll come back again and we'll resume the discussion at 6. Okay. 1.5 minute. In the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat window. Let's come back and start the discussion again in 2 minutes. In the meantime, you can go ahead, explore your LLM, try to see what other prompting you can give, what kind of case studies we can get. We'll talk again on how to use this in case studies and what are the research proven effective methods to get this. Okay. 1 minute break. Yeah. In the meantime, if you tried out any other case study, if you got the results, please do let me know in the chat window. Also, you can type it in the spreadsheet. That way, we all can know like how effective it has been, and if you think the case study is really meaningful. Okay, and have tried this in several classes. It's been really effective. Yeah. Stretch yourself a little. Have a quick biological break. We'll be back again. We'll come back and we'll resume again. Okay, we'll resume again. Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, in the meantime, if there's any questions, if any doubts, or if you explored something new, or if you gave something which was related to your course, which actually made a difference, feel free to let me know so that we can discuss it further as well. Otherwise, we'll resume back very soon. Okay, have a quick 30 seconds break. Yeah. In the meantime, let me see and explore if anything else is added into case study. Yeah, I see that there are a few prompts which have come in. Otherwise, like I said, you can always go ahead and try it later. That should be perfectly well to go ahead and to finish up as well. Okay. Yeah. So let's get back to this. Let me continue explaining about when to use this case studies. Please do remember, it's not about you go and explain the concept, you teach you give the case study and then you talk about it. No, what you need to do is you make sure that at least you have 1 hour class. In the first 1 hour class, at least 50 minutes goes in the case study discussion. You talk to the students, brainstorm, and try to understand what they have understood. Because if you don't give that closing connection to the case study, these case studies of deeper connection will not make any sense, right? So what you will do is you will spend, maybe if you have a 2 hour class, this should be the perfect way. So rather than running some slides and explaining those things where even you have